My next projects are going to continue to look at state sponsorship of terrorism because that's just sort of my area of interest. But I'm also working on a project where I'm looking at the growth of insurgencies over time. And something that's come up in some of my other work is that insurgencies at their initial stages, or terrorist campaigns, are quite vulnerable and they're often likely to fail. So what I want to understand is what factors sort of enable these groups to persist and what enables them to actually get to the point where they're sort of self-sustaining, and what can governments do in that interim period to either make that problem worse or what can they do to make that problem better. With the goal in mind that if we know from the empirical literature that once it gets to a civil war it's incredibly hard to resolve, I think the obvious question then is how do you resolve it before it gets to a civil war? How can you possibly get this done before we get to that level where it's very, very intractable? So what I'm looking at is what can governments do at that stage to either buy off the insurgents, make them peaceful, make them cooperative, or disarm the group in some way where it's not as damaging as a civil war might be.